text 3D, and I've said give it a thickness of 100 millimeters. So it's got a thickness of 100 millimeters. Also, if I double click on this again, also you'll notice that the offset is 50 millimeters from the wall, so it'll just add a little bit of shadow to it as well. If I put one there and one there, notice how it tucks itself around and is tangential to the walls as I do this, as you can see. I'll put one there as well. And zoom out. Now, as I said, I'm going to put a car into the scene. Now, I need to get that car from the Google warehouse. Now, let me just click on the cutouts icon here in the Tools toolbar, and you'll notice there's a new button for the warehouse, and I'm going to download a model from there. So first of all, I click onto that. It goes straight into the Google warehouse for me. Now, I want to search for a smart car, so just type in smart car, press enter. Now I know that it's not in this page, or the one I want isn't in this page, so I'm going to go to the next page, go down to the bottom, that's the one I want, and download this model. I can save it anywhere I like, and it's just a SketchUp file, and just give it a second to download. Here we are. What happened, that dialog would go away, and there's my little car. So if I put it down right here in the middle of the pavement there, and I can now go to the cutout manager. Well, actually, what I wanted to do, I wanted to bring it down as many multiple new materials and reapply the effect. And you'll see what that does in a second. Okay, so let's go to the cutout manager, and we want to tweak this. So click the tweak button, and taking one of the axes here, I'm going to roll it round. Notice this new effect where I can see, or I can position it much more easily, and roll it around to there, and then move the car into position right there. Uncheck the tweak button, and there we have it. Now, I finished the colored image, and what I need to do is I just need to tidy up a few shadows. Let's just put that back to brush. I need to tidy up a few shadows, so I'm going to do an update all of the shadows here, and that will clear the shadows off the car because of the order I place the cutouts. So while that's happening, what we're going to do next is we're going to take this whole scene and push it through to what we call the restore channels. And I'll show you that in a second. If I, that's all done with the shadows. If I right click on this, we've got the RGB channel, depth channel, material channel. There's the depth channel, and so we've got all these new cutouts in there. Let's have a look at the material channel. Now remember, I said to you that this is just showing the materials, and I've asked for multiple new materials for the car. Well, you can see it's got several materials for glass, body, so I could change the colors if I wanted to over it. And then finally, we've got these restore RGB, restore depth, and restore material. Let's just show you the restore RGB. Well, it's back to where we started again. So what I want to do is I want to burn the colored image into the restore channel, so then I can start adding some styles and effects over the top of that. So let's do that right away. So I'm going to use the command re-render, and that will not only push the color or the RGB back into the restore RGB, but it also, when I click this button here, burn all these cutouts into this. So no longer will I be able to move the cutouts in the image. So do that. Now, one of the things I wanted to show was a few reflections. Let's make it look like it's got a bit of a rainy day there. So I'm going to click my reflection style and go to the texture, and I've got these two options. I've got an option here called capture, and I'm going to capture the reflections in the image. And once I've done that, put opacity, I can just paint there, and you can see it's immediately looks as if this got a reflection of the building in there. Now, if I just drop that down a little bit to about there, it's a far more subtle effect, and looks much better than that. So let's just try a few styles now. So I'm going to re-render again because I want those reflections pushed back in, and I'm going to go to colored styles. I'm going to quickly do this. First of all, using the fill can, white paint, 100%, no locks. I'm going to cover the whole thing in white. Now this is using the edge tool, or the edge effect, and again using a global fill can, black color. I'm going to put the edges onto back into the model and show them as black. And then using a filter of random, I'm going to randomly wobble the lines like so, And then finally, with a raster brush, this is, you can have, we've got a round brush before we've used, you can have raster brushes as well, just a little raster file. And then I'm going to just paint with a very, very low opacity there. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, the colour back into the image. And there you have it. One sort of photorealistic and then washed out painted effect to finish. Okay. Now what I want to do now is show another effect, this time a painted, more sketchy image of this penthouse. Let's throw this file away and open up the file again. And I'm going to do this really, really quickly. I'm going to use a filter first of all with the style. So it's a filtered style again, and I'm going to brighten up the image. I don't want so much of the grey effect, so just going to brighten it up there. And just going to tone that down a little bit from the back. I just want to, yeah, just going to put a material lock on that. That's fine, just to brighten that one up as well. First of all, let's add the sky. So we've got a blue colour for the sky. I'm not using textures with this at all, so I've got some blue there. I'm going to use a smudge tool here and then start to smudge and create a cloudy effect. Now, I'm using this quite a bit in this style. There's one there. Just do one there, put a little bit up there. That's lovely. Leave it like that. I'm using this wobbly type of brush effect, and this is done with the dynamic settings. And what it does, it paints with splatters all over the place, and that's where the mark comes from. And then it twists around as I'm doing it, and that's where the angle comes from, and it's varying in size by that much. So that's the clouds. Now let's paint on some colour for the walls. Again, using that wobbly brush, and I'm using a fade this time, so it's fading down to black. And the more I put on there, the more colour I get on there. Let's just do this one round here, going as fast as I can, and put a little bit over there, a little bit on this one. That's great. And let's go down to the next one, so more colour for the walls. Start painting the main walls. This is quite a bright one, this one, but it goes down to a dark because I'm using the fade. That's it, just paint over there, a bit more colour. I can make the brush a little bit bigger by pressing the square brackets. That's good, we can go a little bit faster. Let's do the retaining walls. It's fine. Good. Along here. Yeah, it's giving quite a nice effect. Just want to go to this to do the railings and the slabs. Yep. Handrails. Same as we did before. Just gives them a little bit of colour. Grass. This is using a green brush. There's very little opacity on this. Let's turn it up a little bit. That's better. That's good. Another colour here. Just give it a bit varied. There's a little bit of grass there. Good. Got to some paving. Again, this is a sketchy raster type brush. I need to show a little bit in the foreground here, and the background here. That's good. I'm on this building here. Okay. Using an alpha texture, and I paint on just a hint of brickwork. There you can see what I've done there. And some crazy paving. What I want to do here is I want to paint using a colour lock, and so it just paints the paving on where I've got splashes of colour there, and so it gives it sort of a paving effect there. And let's add some brightness to the windows. Just make sure I got those there. and we'll put in some cutouts. Some trees at the back.